We're 10 rounds down in the Hungry Jacks NBL and things look a little different inside the top four. That to get to, plus all the good stuff that you normally see. Power rankings, yes or no, the sneaker of the week and a whole lot more. Hello and welcome to NBL Overtime. You can use the hashtag NBL22 to get involved across the show. Jack Heverin in the chair for the next couple of weeks as Cam Luke goes hunting that elusive 10-day contract that he's been searching for the best part of 20 years. Homicide, good to see you. And you missed the memo on blue shirt night here.
For real. Got a little bit of blue in there. What's going on, Jack?
Hey, Liam, last night we saw a fantastic performance from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Undermanned, 4 players and their coach not playing. They went to the gong and they found a way to get it done.
Good win by them, great win by them. We're seeing bounce-back performances all over the league. A team takes an L, they come back and get a win. Upsets, guys stepping up, Jack stepping up in the big chair. Beautiful, lots to talk about.
Well, let's start with Monday night basketball. A really, really interesting game. A game of runs for both teams as well. The Phoenix were red hot early, then went a little cold after that. They found a way to get it done.
Fun night of Monday night hoops. A frustrating night for the Hawks, Brian Goorjian and the Hawkheads. Southeast Melbourne, you're right, they controlled this for most of the night. Despite having all those guys out, they have their starting unit, they have this man. Mitch Creek, good business decision by Tim Conrad, just to, just to get out of the way. At times, the Hawks got rolling, and we, of course, went right down to the wire. But controversial finish in the end. They didn't make the Phoenix hit shots to win the game. Duop Reith puts them up with the 3-ball. Antonius Cleveland, a couple of steals late, breakaway dunks. Ratan Mays just bit off a little bit more than he could chew right there. And then a couple of fouls late, including, of course, on the final possession. And I tell you, it's hard to win anywhere on the road in the NBL, but to go to Wollongong after getting your pants pulled down at home by the Wildcats and come away with a win, that's a great result for Southeast Melbourne.
That was a great result. They are on the man. The head coach did. Judd Flavel got his first win as the head coach. It was embarrassing what happened at home versus Perth. They got destroyed. They won one quarter, and then it was all Perth. So for them to come back here and handle business, kudos to them. Now, on the flip side, Illawarra, that was they lost that game. They pretty much gave the game away. Here's basically what happened. Antonius Cleveland came down, played really good defense, got 2 steals, 2 dunks, but he was overzealous when they were up 3 points, and he fouls, I believe, Mumford. He fouls out of the game. Mumford goes to the free throw line, knocks down 2 free throws. Now, he's the best on-ball defender. He's out the game. The next play coming down, you foul a 3-point shooter for no reason. For no reason. Mumford was cooking, but he was cooking going to the rack. Just put your hand up. If he makes that, cool. You're up. You lose the game by making bad decisions on defense. I mean, clearly they've been making bad decisions on defense the last few games. That's why they're in this situation that they're in. But if you're home, you got to trust your defense. Don't foul a 3-point shooter with the last possession of the game. Make him make the shot. That's how you lost the game. Mumford goes to the line, cool, calm, and collected.
Ice.
Ice. He was cooking in that fourth quarter. The plays he was making down the stretch. And shout out to Brokoff.
Yep.
16
Is he still
rebounds.
named Ryan Brokoff?
Oh, my goodness.
He's got a new nickname after last night, Liam.
Well, Andrew Gase in the pre-game started calling him Brian Rockoff. I don't know where that came from, but we landed on the worm because he was every shot he thought was a pass to him last night as he just cleaned the glass. But you're right, Corey, that very frustrating night for the Hawks, the way that played out, because broken play. We set the table for Judd Flavel and his play call. In the end, Creaky just throws it to his left. Munford scoops it up, broken play. You got to make him hit that shot because your pressure has put them in a situation where they have to hit that shot to win. Let them off the hook. Now, of course, you got to step up and make those free throws. Also interesting, the decision by Gorge to challenge the call, because the way it played out, he wouldn't have been able to call the timeout anyway and advance the ball because Mumford misses that last one on purpose.
Yep.
Right.
But if you've still got that timeout up your sleeve, puts more pressure on Mumford to make those first 2. He misses either of those first two, then he has to hit the third. Timeout, you advance it, you can get a shot up to win the game. So it was a very fun game for a Monday night to close out the round.
Not so much for Hawkheads fans, though, but it was a lot of fun for Tasmania fans as well, because by Illawarra losing, that means that the JackJumpers in year one here in the Hungry Jacks NBL currently sit inside the top 4.
That's my team. I got a few teams, but this was the team that I have chose to back just because of the fact that they're the new guys in town. And it's just been extremely impressive what Scott Roth and his crew have been able to do. Now, look, they beat Melbourne United, right? That's just the unthinkable in Melbourne. They beaten Sydney. They beaten New Zealand. They beaten Adelaide. Jack McVeigh, 17 points. The game before that, he looked really good. He was happy out there when they won their road game.
Yeah.
Clearly it wasn't. It was still in Tassie.
Yeah.
And his form continued. Josh Adams, 16 points. Majette, 11, 5, and 6. But here's the two guys that stepped up. Mikhail McIntosh. He averages 5.8 points per game. He had 16 in that game, 16 and 4. And Matt Kenyon had 9 points combined. That's 25 points, 8 rebounds. So that's a big difference, and it takes a whole lot off of the backcourt that usually have to carry the bulk of it. And Chris Goulden, I mean, look, he shot the lights out, 29 points in damn near 3 quarters.
Yep.
The best center in the NBL goes for the best stat line this season so far in the whole league. 26 and 21, and still was not enough to get it done. Much credit and much respect to the JackJumpers because they're the hottest team in the NBL right now.
Yeah. They've been sensational. You know, we talk about the Hawks. Scott Roth has this team, the JackJumpers, playing like a Brian Goorjian style team.
Correct. Yeah.
Second in defensive efficiency, and it's the pressure, first in steals, first in opposing turnovers. And you're right to talk about Jack McVeigh. So we've been talking about it all season. So important to this team. Got to get him the rock. Beautiful find from Josh Adams. Great play call from Scott Roth. And they find Jack McVeigh, who Scott Roth says is probably their best shooter, wide open in that clutch moment. Got to get him shots. And in the last 3 games, yes, he's had 17 points in each of those games. 10 field goal attempts. One of them had 11.
Efficiency.
That's got to be where it is for Jack McVeigh. He's got to get 10 field goal attempts every game. You're right, McIntosh, Magnay playing well. But you flagged last week the improved decision-making from the backcourt imports, Majette and Adams, because, of course, they're the 2 best players, arguably, along with Magnay. And they've calmed down and they're making better decisions. And it's a beautiful thing. 6 and 6, beating the defending champs in their homecoming game. Absolutely outstanding. Now, there's a bit to unpack here about Melbourne United and where they are. But I feel like we let the Illawarra Hawks a little bit off the hook.
Do you really?
Yeah, I feel like we need to dive in on these guys because Gorge the other day said after their loss to New Zealand, 67 points on the board, he was asked, is it panic time? He said, alarm bells are ringing for me because we need to turn this around or we're in deep, deep trouble. Then they go home, they lose that game. I mean, here, let's start to the power rankings real quick, and we see I've dropped them down to 6.
And you're absolutely right to drop them down to 6 because they can't play no defense. This is a team they're a jump shooting team. Their center steps out and loves to shoot. It's like everyone's allergic to the paint. Everybody. How can you win games in this league if you have nobody that you can throw the ball to in the post and get busy consistently? You're not going to win no games.
What was the thinking last night with Sam Froling not starting? Because you think about a player that you can roll a ball into on the low block. Sam Froling's that kind of guy to some point. Didn't start last night, and they didn't go with him down the stretch.
Well, firstly, I like the idea of mixing it up because you're coming into that game, you lost 4 of your last 6. You've got to change some things up.
Right.
So I felt like it was more of a matchup thing because the Phoenix have a very mobile power forward in Mitch Creek. Sam Froling, that's a tough matchup for the big fella.
That ain't no matchup.
Yeah, so I can understand not going there. What I find interesting is no run for AJ Ogilvy at all. Now, we spoke about this on the broadcast a little bit last night, and Drew was talking about they got depth in that front line with Harry Froling and Duop Reith that they didn't have last year. But, I mean, they were second in the league in defensive efficiency last year. It got them to the playoffs. Who was their best defender?
AJ Ogilvy played really well for them last season.
Really well.
And I remember down the stretch last season when they did get in trouble sometimes, they threw my man Isaac White in the game. Get my man some minutes, because he can help you at both ends. He's a little strong nugget. He can shoot, he can get to the basket, and he plays defense.
Hard to imagine that we're 10 rounds into the season, after the way that he finished last year, that we're saying that Isaac White has not only not played a lot of minutes, has not scored in the Hungry Jacks NBL this season. And it's through lack of opportunity.
Yeah. So Justin Simon was their best defender last year, right? Defensive player of the year. AJ Ogilvy was their second best defender. And if you're having all kinds of trouble
on defense, put that man in the game.
If for nothing else, as a bit of a statement, say, you know what, like Dean Vickerman would do that to Joe Luala-Chul if he wasn't
You're not playing no D. You're going to sit down.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get a little bit of run.
I can see why there's alarm bells ringing, because I think that's the unanimous view. Just go back to the power rankings for a second if we can. If we can just bring them back up one more time, because...
Okay. You going to nitpick?
Well, I just want to ask you about Melbourne United, who have retained second on the power rankings right now. Did you think about dropping them down one rung at all?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a think with the South East Melbourne Phoenix. The Phoenix just need to prove a little bit more to me.
Okay.
In Melbourne, I think that 8-game winning streak, where they were defense, they got some credits in the bank.
No doubt, for sure.
Yeah. Two losses, Adelaide and Tassie, they're not good losses, but it's interesting though, because I'm comfortable with them. I'm not sure Dean Vickerman's entirely comfortable with his squad right now.
Well, let's take a little bit of a listen to what Dean Vickerman had to say after Sunday's loss to Tassie.
We weren't able to win a game either. Do we have enough depth? Is there enough on this roster? Can other people step up when we really need them to? And there's some of the questions I'm going through my mind right now.
When you say you got questions about the roster, is that looking at you might bring in someone in that other import slot, or you might have to swap someone around the roster, or what's your sort of thinking about where things could go?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the best out of this group, and I think when everyone's been healthy and everyone's been on the floor, we've shown that we're, it's pretty good. So I don't want to overreact to that one and say, but I expected we needed more people to step up and make shots tonight.
They do not need another import right now. Alarm bells aren't ringing there like they're ringing in Wollongong. What they need to do is Kalabagata needs to step up and score. When he scores and plays well, that game is won. You have to be consistent. This is the be consistent league, because anybody can beat anybody. If you don't know nothing else about this league, there are no guaranteed wins against anybody here. So you have to be consistent. It's intense. Every possession counts. This league's no different than like EuroLeague. It's no different. You don't show up, you're going to lose. There's no, there's leagues in the world where your imports, you can sit them down or play bad and you'll still win. This ain't that league. Step your game up.
It's interesting because what Vicko's thinking is we lost those first two games at the start of the season with no Chris Golding and no Jack White. So when we're a little undermanned, couldn't get it done. Then we get everyone back, roll through the league. And then he looks at that last game and says, no Jack White, no Ariel Hook-Porty. We lose to the JackJumpers.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, all right, so when we've got everybody out there on the floor, we're a good team, we can win. And we sit on this desk, this team as currently built can win the title. But he's thinking, geez, maybe everything will have to break right for us. And we'd have to stay super healthy because we've got a couple of guys out and we're not getting it done.
And those two guys that are out at the moment, they're high-energy defensive players and extremely intensive. And Jack White holds people accountable.
And they don't lose when Jack White plays. His record stacks up. They've lost one game when Jack White has been in the lineup.
Yeah.
We've spoken a bit about responses in round 10. It was an important response for the Cairns Taipans, I thought, Liam, in their win over Brisbane, to come back after the coach publicly put it out there and said, listen, you guys, you got to start to fire up and you got to start to show something. They went to Brisbane and they showed plenty.
Oh, did they what? Passed the manhood test. He says, the question of your character. They said, Coach, we've got no one on the floor. He said, I don't care. He's a no excuses guy, Adam Ford. We saw what he did in Sydney last year. All kinds of injuries. No Xavier Cooks, Jarell Martin out every second game. They had a winning record, 19-17 under Adam Ford. And yeah, he put the heat on him and, geez, didn't they respond? To Jim McCall, he's carrying a massive load. right now in the absence of Scott Machado and those other guys. They needed Majuk Deng to hit shots.
Yep.
He did that. That was big, especially early. And then Steven Zimmerman played well. Keanu Pinder continues to play well. I loved the impact of Jordan Nartai, not in a high-scoring role, but in an important big-minute role for him as a starter. But, of course, the story of this game was Bull Quoll. Oh, my goodness, that young man. 8 of 10 from long range, getting it done at the defensive end, but then giving a game-winning punch offensively. He was absolutely spectacular.
No Noy, no Jawai, no Machado. Who else they missing, Lynn?
Jarrett, Kenny.
Jared, Kenny, and you come into Brisbane and get it done. The most frustrating team now outside of Illawarra is Brisbane. You don't know what they're going to give you. I don't care if they just missing Nathan Sobey. Everybody else is available. You cannot lose at home to a severely undermanned Cairns Taipans. That's just completely unacceptable. Robert Franks, I don't understand how he had the ball rolling in the first quarter and finished maybe 12 points, 11 points in the first quarter, and then finished with like 22, and they stopped going to him. I don't really like the anybody could get the ball and shoot type of offense. I don't like that. These players on this team, he's the best player on that team for me inside. He's the best player on that team. Give the man the ball. There's no Sobey. Focus on him even more. He was so assertive in the first quarter. How do you go away from him? There was nobody on the other team that could stop him. Give him the ball. Then I don't like how he floats around at the three-point line all the time. Get the man inside and let him continue to do the work he was doing in the first quarter. Why do you go away from that?
They don't have a point guard.
Lamar Patterson plays point.
Yeah.
They have a point guard.
No.
Jason Kadee
Nah.
is a point guard. Lamar Patterson it can play point as well.
Do you know what?
Get him in the ball.
Jason Kaddee's a combo guard who handles the ball. Lamar Patterson's a small forward who they play at the point sometimes, right? Nathan Sobey's a 2. We know he's a 2, but they play him at the point. They don't have a guy who's built like a point guard, who has the mentality and the read of the game like a point guard. If they did, Robert Franks would get the ball more. They would run plays for him more often.
This is ridiculous how this, especially in this specific game. Now, there's certain big men that, they're just like, look, all right, if I don't get the ball here, they'll do what Brokoff did. Offensive, he's going to go get it.
Xavier Cooks.
Robert Franks. That's not how Robert Franks play. I don't seen enough games.
No, you're right.
Like, guess what? If he's not getting the ball, he's zoning out and just going to hang out by the three-point line.
Right.
That's just the reality. So it's KYP. Know your personnel. I don't need half the year to see if I don't give Big Fella the ball, he ain't giving me nothing on the glass. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds the game before. He came out super aggressive. If nothing else, you should know how important he is to you. Get him in the ball. Keep him involved.
I agree. Two-way street.
KYP.
Know your personnel.
Know your personnel.
I know my personnel.
Yo, you know what I used to do when I played? When I had big games and I needed to win and certain players needed to step up for me?
Yeah.
I'm taking them to dinner the night before. Where you want to go? Dinner is on me. What you want to drink? I need this game from you. I'm going to come and give you the ball every time. This matchup is so important. I need you to win it. Whatever you need, I got you. Whether I believe in him or not, I'm going to get him the ball because I need that W tomorrow.
P.S. Steak medium rare as soon as we finish the
There we
show
go.
tonight.
Hold on. Do you do that with the real deal?
Nah, Really was always on point. He was always, I didn't have to worry about Really.
You know who's doing it with Really right now?
Who?
Our man Cam.
What?
What?
Cam's hanging out with the real deal.
Is he?
Oh, come on. What's Cam like?
KYP. He's like, real deal, let's take you out for dinner. Let's get medium rare. No doubt some
Really
story.
looking good, man.
Oh, yeah. No doubt some C-Dub stories exchanged there. But I feel you. And look, it was a two-way street. Franks needs to play harder.
Yeah.
Go and get it. Don't wait for everything to go your way. But also, they need to, and maybe it is Jason Kadee. I don't think Lamar Patterson, it doesn't happen when Lamar Patterson's, he had a 26-point game, and yeah, he can set some guys up, but he doesn't play like a point guard.
Right.
And in the modern game, I think, like Ruck was making this point actually, in it when we were chatting off air. And there's some teams with the modern game, it's positionless, we don't need a point guard. You know what? I don't think that works. It's not working for Brisbane. It didn't work for Sydney when Jalen Adams was out. Now he's back. Now they're rolling.
Let me tell you what works on this show each and every week, and that is Santa's watching. The stuff that maybe you don't see across the weekend in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Our man does not miss a trick. What have you got for us this week?
Well, all thanks to Amy, as always. Santa's watching. Where are we going to start? I think, let's have a look. It was a long weekend. There was a lot going on. We're starting in Tasmania. They're starting to really get around the Hungry Jacks.
They're hungry.
They're rivaling the Adelaide fans for their enthusiasm. And this little man right here,
Look at that.
very happy. Worst shot in NBL history.
Oh my God!
Look where it hits.
Panda!
And look, big moment, big game. 2 points in it, broke off wide open. Oh my.
Yeah.
Hey, Gorge, how do you feel about the refs right now?
Is he doing a COVID test?
Look at Duop Reef. There you go. That's Santa's watching.
man.
All thanks to Amy.
There's some funny stuff going on with Brian Goorjian right now.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Illawarra Hawks. That's as weird as it gets.
He's not happy.
No, he's not happy.
He's not happy at all.
I think you are happy. I think we are happy, though, of course, with our JD Sneaker of the Week, the undisputed king of trainers. Let's take a little look here at what Peyton Seaver's rolling with this week, Liam.
Oh, I like that. Patience. I like it. Colour scheme. They've been rocking the bit of the pink and the tropical colours. Very nice work. He's playing well too.
They certainly are. JD Sports are revving that Jordan Motorsport vibe with the men's Air Jordan 5 Racer Blue. Clean, neat and tidy in black and blue. They launched this Saturday, the 12th of February at selected JD stores and online via the JD AU app. Download the app today and make sure you don't miss it.
Wow. Jordan 5.
Woof.
They are going to last like 15 minutes.
Yep.
These, speaking of JD.
Speaking of patience as
Oh
well.
my God, they hooked me up.
Show me.
These ones are cams. They're cams.
No. They're the hosts, so they come with me. Thank you.
The Jordan 5s are nice. These are the ones from a few weeks ago. Look at these bad boys right here, the Jordan 4s. Best shoe of all time. Shout out to all the guys at JD Sports, the undisputed king of trainers, hooking up NBL Overtime.
They most certainly are. And a shout out to Cam because if you snooze, you lose. And they are coming home with me tonight as well. Now, this week, of all of the things that I was most looking forward to, jumping in the chair for the next few weeks, Cam gave me one instruction, and that was do not stuff up, yes or no. So I have stayed awake all night. The nominations are in for yes or no. Thank you very much, sir, if you could be so kind.
Oh,
I've put some work into this.
Okay.
Because I have to get it right.
all
Corey.
right.
Should the conversation around in-season trades be put back on the table for next season?
No.
Why?
Salary caps. I believe because of salary cap issues. Nah. No in-season trade.
Think of a guy like Emmett Nah, Liam, who can't find a spot in the rotation at Illawarra, yet there's probably 2 or 3 teams who would love his services right now.
Yeah, it does come up every year. I'm with Corey though. It's a good idea. The practicalities in a league that's not the. Do you see trades in many basketball leagues around the world mid-season? NBA, right? Because you earn so much that you say, all right, you want to shift me around from town to town, we can make that work. I'm not sure it'll work.
Are you prepared to drop Brisbane from finals discussions after last weekend?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Ooh, he's sticking fat for now.
There's more. This is a topsy-turvy league.
Yeah, it sure is. Corey, speaking of Mikhail McIntosh, we touched on him a little earlier in Tassie's win over Melbourne. Last week you spoke about Dusty Hannahs saving his job for Adelaide. Was it the same for Mikhail McIntosh? Did he save himself a plane ticket?
He sure did. Because as an import, averaging 5.8, no assists, 3 rebounds, you're lucky to still be here. That game saved your job for sure.
One of the high players in the competition right now, for getting an opportunity, is Lockie Barker. Playing with the South East Melbourne Phoenix, has been making buckets for fun with Frankston in NBL 1. Does Lockie Barker find himself with a spot on an NBL team next season?
Yes, for sure. Tassie. Get that kid, the Taswegian.
How did they miss that?
Got to go get him.
Yeah. And Scott Morrison, one more for you, Liam, because you watch every single press conference, every single week. It's one of the great things about you. Is he starting to come out of his shell in press conferences now? We've had mentions about Survivor in the last couple of weeks and things like that.
He's funny.
He's starting to relax.
He's fun. Scott Morrison's funny. The answer's yes, of course. He said during the week he'd never heard of the word tribunal before. He said, "Oh, that's news to me. I didn't know what that was." And then when he was asked about the decision of the tribunal about Matt Hodgson, he said, and then the appeal from the NBL, he said, "I thought the tribe had already spoken." He's a funny guy. In fact, when you watch him in press conferences, you can tell the first thing that comes into his mind is like sarcasm.
Yeah.
And it either pops out or he goes, which is his way of just sort of suppressing that initial comment and giving the politically correct response.
It did get me thinking about what an NBL survivor would look like.
Oh.
Imagine our man on an island with some other NBL people. Imagine some of the games and the stuff that would be going on. How do you think you'd go and survive it? Would you be a good player?
I'm going to give you a fun fact.
Oh.
Last season, it was a last-minute substitution, and I got the call to be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Oh. What?
And they needed an answer in 24 hours. And due to our schedule, because, you might have to be there for a month if you're going away to the end in Queensland, and I wasn't able to do it.
But does that mean that the door is open for future editions?
Oh, if I ever would have an opportunity to do it.
You'd been training to look good naked.
That would be perfect.
Perfect situation.
Yeah.
Corey would win Survivor.
I don't know about that.
You'd go deep. I reckon he'd go deep.
Well, I'm an inner city guy, Survivor. I don't know about out
You'd
there.
struggle with the elements.
Yo, dude. That's a different kind of survival. These things will kill you. Look, I don't know a place in the world with more things that can kill you in Australia than anywhere. I don't know anywhere else.
That is true.
So out there, that for sure would be must-see TV. Oh my goodness.
The
I
social
lost weight.
side, though. You'd be your.
You can't have your phone.
You
can't see what's going on.
You'd miss your
I can't see what's going on.
Imagine Corey going on Survivor with no Instagram. What would the rest of the world do for a month, I wonder? Round 11, not too far away. It all starts on Thursday. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix taking on Sydney. Here is the schedule for how it lines up. There are some fascinating games, and not only the way that we start the round, Corey, but you jump ahead to Saturday night, Melbourne and Perth at John Cain Arena. My goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix at Sydney. That's going to be sick. Illawarra, Cairns, Illawarra. You know what?
Must win.
I'm going to skip over that. I got Cairns in that game, actually. But Melbourne United versus Perth. Bryce Cotton loves playing in Melbourne and loves playing against Melbourne United. Because to be honest with you, Bryce Cotton owns Melbourne United. I can't wait to see that matchup. I cannot wait to see he and Delhi go. Because Delhi going to have to guard him. Delhi's going to have to guard him.
Yeah, and Shea Yelly.
Oh, man.
So the Hawks are outside the top 4 right now. And you've got them
Hawks
losing
ain't
a chance.
going back in the top 4. Like, listen.
Put them in the bin.
I'm done with that. I'm off that damn train. I'm off the train. I said that on NBL. What? I said that on my Instagram like 2 games ago before. I'm done with that.
So Adelaide's in the bin.
Adelaide's in the bin.
The Kings are still in the bin?
No. Jalen Adams.
Oh, they're like
Jalen Adams.
Oscar the Grouch.
He's hanging out.
I mean, they got a chance because Illawarra, get him out of here, yo. Get him out of here.
Wow.
They ain't playing no D. Then when you got a chance to win, you mess up the game like that?
They're okay. They'll be there.
They ain't gonna be there.
You know who's the coach, right?
Tasmania. JackJumpers. I got more faith in them than I got in Illawarra.
Come on, but we've seen this story before. The
Well,
Phoenix,
they're going to have to earn my trust back.
in year 1, won a whole bunch of games early. You guys started saying, hold on, are these guys championship contenders? I said, wait for it. It's their inaugural season. They're an expansion team. They'll hit the wall.
Yo, I don't trust their defense, man. I don't trust their defense, Illawarra. I ain't even talking offense. I don't trust them defensively.
We got to go. Turns out it was bin night here on NBL Overtime. We'll see you next week. It all starts on Thursday.
Peace.